Hey everybody, I'm Jamila Ballard. I'm sitting here with two amazing women whom I have the pleasure of knowing. We're talking about self-confidence. Tori and Di, who I renamed Diamond. Because I think she's a diamond in the rough. Well, she's not in the rough. You coming out of the rough.
I'm coming out of the rough. Yes, I'm coming out of the rough.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Amen.
And I love the name.
Amen.
It's unique.
Amen.
No one has ever.
And she's not a stripper. She's not a stripper. I know people think that when they hear Diamond.
First thing that
she's not a stripper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway.
That was cute though.
So,
I really like that and appreciate that.
We're talking about confidence. Why are we talking about confidence? We're talking about confidence because one thing I have learned, which has helped me to transform my entire life, literally, is that a sense of self-worth, a sense of identity is everything. I know we are all personally, obviously, on our own journeys of self-confidence. And as I always say, it's not something where you reach a destination. It is literally day to day, speaking to yourself, affirming for yourself, encouraging yourself, tuning out anything that does not build your confidence.
Lord have mercy. Everybody always talking.
I got something to say. Hey! You got something to say. Hey! We all got something to say. Hey! So have your morning coffee with the ballads today. I got something to say. Hey! You got something to say. Hey! We all got something to say. Hey! So have your morning coffee with the ballads today. Morning coffee. I got something to say. You got something to say. Morning coffee with the ballads today.
I came out of a marriage where I didn't have to want for anything. I pretty much had 2 kids, the house, everything except for a dog. 2 great incomes, and it just didn't work out. And a lot of people were saying, you know, why would you leave that situation? And I felt like my confidence kicked in when I said, which is more important, peace? Because, you know, I had peace after I left, or staying in chaos and having all of the bills taken care of.
When you say chaos, do you mean you two? What do you mean
We
by
just
that?
didn't get along, you know, cut from a different cloth. And the kids kind of, once the kids were born, that's when it really kicked in. That's when you really learn the person. For me, when you have kids, you get to see,
When you're
listen,
parenting
we don't
together,
parent the
right.
same, we don't do anything the same. So my confidence is what got me out of that situation. And a lot of people, even though it's over 10 years later, a lot of people are still saying, I don't know how you did it, because it's hard being a single mother. But you do what you need to do for peace.
What's interesting is that for all of us, we have started to discover our own identity and our own healthy self-esteem through some very difficult times, through some very challenging times. And for me, it was, you know, I'll just say it was a horrible marriage. It was horrible. It's funny you mentioned being a single parent, making the decision to leave because you become a single parent, and that's difficult. And I remember one time I said to my mother, you know, I don't want to raise my kids by myself, and I was staying for that reason. And my mother said to me, Jamila, you're already raising your kids by yourself. And I realized she is 100%
And I'm sure you worked.
She's 100% correct. So it's so funny how I think women make this mistake a lot, probably men too, where you're trying your best to hold on to somebody because that's what you want, or you think you're doing the right thing. And when we let go, that's when we realize it wasn't the right thing at all. It was actually hurting us. And affecting our self-esteem negatively. And you don't realize how wounded you are until you get out of the situation.
You're right. You're
right?
That's how I feel. That's exactly how
And
I
that's
feel.
where the strength comes into play. You know, where you can say, you know what, I may be stripped of all these things, but I have peace now.
Amen.
You know?
Amen. Yeah, I discovered that also. And I've gotten to the point now where my peace is everything, and I'm not giving it up for anything. And it's funny how, like, every now and then, if I look back, I realized I was a totally different person. I was a very, very different person because my identity was wrapped up in my circumstances and the so-called relationship. I guess it was some type of relationship. I don't know what to even call it. But my identity was so wrapped up in that person's world that I had not even yet begun to discover who I am. And so since I walked away from that, just like you ladies, that's when all of a sudden the healing starts taking place. Your eyes become open to things that you were completely blind to. Were there some things that you ladies were blind to while you were in the relationship, in the marriage, that you just did not see, and now you wonder how you ever even tolerated it?
Well, for me, I was being controlled. I wasn't allowed to be myself. I was doing whatever I thought worked for him. And I'll even give you an example. This is really true. I was trying so hard to please him and get his attention that I went and I bought hazel contacts. I will never forget. Now,
that's something that he expressed that he likes?
Well, he liked exotic women with light eyes and long hair. So I went downtown Newark.
Why didn't he just go get one? I'm trying to understand.
I went downtown Newark and I purchased these cheap.
And you're able to laugh about it now.
Yeah, but
back
it was
then
sad.
that must have
It was
been
really
hurtful.
sad.
Yeah.
I went downtown Newark in the cold. Some guy was selling these bootleg lenses, and I just went contacts, and I went and I purchased two. I bought one blue
You
pair.
buy contacts off the street?
Off the street.
Oh, God.
$5.
That's a good thing.
$5.
Okay.
One blue, one hazel.
What?
And then I went and I got this long weave.
Wow.
And I remember like yesterday, I came home and he laughed. He said, "Why in the hell would you do that?"
Wow.
And I'm like, wait, hold on. I'm doing
But
this
you were
for
trying
him.
to please him.
He's
Yeah.
laughing. Okay, I can't. Like, and at that moment, I said, I can't win in this. Let me just be me. So I went natural. Because I didn't want to have all of that hair anyway. That's not
right.
me. So I just
And
went
that's
natural.
what happens. You'll go to any lengths to please somebody when you don't feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Di, would you like to share what's going on with you?
Yes, so I've started over. It's been 2 months now.
Started over?
Started over, meaning I got out of a relationship. So I'm back on my own, living on my own, got a new place, moved to a different area that I haven't lived before, which was, it was a big step for me to start over because it was a long-term relationship, 5 years.
Okay.
And that's a long time, especially now that I'm 40 now. And I didn't think that I would be back in this place again at this point in time in my life. So it was really difficult for me to start over, as I'm going to say. But now that I've started over, I realized that it was the best thing that could have happened. I didn't realize it before, but now I just feel better about myself as opposed to when I was actually in the relationship. And the relationship wasn't terrible, but obviously every relationship has issues. And, you know, things just got to the point where it was time for a change. So now that I'm on my own again.
That's not the, and by the way, it's not the direction that you would have liked for the relationship
Exactly.
to go in.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's
And that
not right.
happens. That has
Right.
happened to all of us.
Right.
It's happened to me, but I was grateful when it happened.
And that's what
But
I'm
it's
learning.
but it's hard. It's very difficult.
So I'm learning, I'm actually grateful that it did happen because I think that I'm learning to be more confident with myself, to rediscover myself as a woman as well. And
So it's been a blessing.
I really think it has been. It has been. I didn't think it then, but it just took me this short 2 months to realize that it has been a blessing.
I don't have any malice in my heart for anybody. These are things I know about myself. Am I always nice? Not as much as I used to be. Because The thing I learned about nice, this is my perspective, is that part of that nice thing that everybody sees is really an insecure girl in there who just needs more backbone, and cares a little too much about what people think.
That was Di.
Yeah,
That was me.
And can
That
I
was
tell
me.
you, I never even thought I cared about what people thought until I started to come out of that. So that's why I always say this confidence thing is such a journey, because you think you've gotten to a great place with your confidence, right? And then you grow some more and you're like, oh, and you find yourself crying and there's some hurtful junk that's coming out that you're like, I didn't even know that was in there.
There's so many layers.
And then you just, exactly, like you just keep growing more and more and more. But yeah, so I started coming out of that too nice thing, because I was like, here's one of the most valuable things I learned. You have an authentic self, right? And I want to be her no matter where I am, whether I'm at church, whether I'm at home with my husband and my son, whether I'm out sitting down with another woman having lunch or whatever. I want to be the same person everywhere I am, and that comes down to just being a person of integrity and having good character.
I love that. Integrity and character.
So
I love
here's what's bothered me. My eyes got opened up to the fact that I feel this way and I say these things when I get home, but when I was in the situation, I didn't. I said something totally different. And so that made me stop and think. Like, I don't like that, because I'm coming home frustrated, upset, carrying animosity because I didn't honor myself enough in that moment to say what I really wanted to say. What Jamila really had on her heart and in her mind, she kind of buried it because she didn't want to make somebody else uncomfortable, because it was easier. And it was easier because it was a habit, because I was accustomed to not respecting myself. That's the only reason it was ever easy. So once I discovered, okay, now I have this newfound respect for myself and love for myself, I became less able to tolerate things like that. So I'm quicker now, and I'm not nasty when I assert myself or when I speak up for myself. Yeah, sometimes people won't like it, but I'm not nasty about it. I can do it respectfully, but I like who I am more. When I come home at the end of the day and something has happened and I'm not still carrying it because I didn't say what I wanted to say, it feels better to me, because now I'm honoring myself. How do you love yourself if you don't honor who you are?
I had to learn to be what I call a healthy, selfish person.
Say that again.
I love
And
that.
Say that
don't
again.
know, a healthy, selfish person.
Thank you.
I have to remember that.
Thank you.
And I don't know where it comes from, me always being like this people pleaser in the past. I don't know if it's because I'm the only child, or I don't know what it is, because my family is pretty small. But I had to learn the word no. And not because I didn't care about people, not because I
That's for you,
didn't
Di.
want
It
to
is for me,
help.
you're right. I was always a yes person.
Yeah,
Yes to
not
everything.
that I didn't want to help out. It's just like, look, I have priorities too. I have things that I need to do for myself, but I'm always telling everybody else yes. Then when it's time to please myself, I'm tired.
But I was just going to say,
So
you
what-
burnt
burned out.
So
burnt-
what happens
right.
is you teach them, because you teach people how to treat you. So
Right.
you were teaching people to have no consideration
Right.
for you, because Tori's going to say yes.
Right.
She's not going to say
And then when I finally started saying no, then you realize who's who. Because the people that couldn't take it, they're no longer around. Why? Because they're not benefiting from the evolution of Tori.
Because then you're able to see who's
Right.
selfish and who really cares
You know
about
who's
you.
genuine now.
Right.
But I had to do that for my own peace. I keep using that word, but I had to be more selfish And that way I was able to tackle my own business, my own personal business.
But that also is what I was saying about being true to who you are.
Right. It took
Honoring
forever.
yourself.
It took forever to get there. But after a while, I think you just kind of get sick and tired. You just get fed up.
Because we want to give all the time.
Right. And you just can't.
Right.
You just can't.
Right.
So once I got fed up, I'm like, you know what? No. Let me start telling people no. And I think it took for me to lose some things. When my car, the transmission on my truck went in midwinter, the only person that was there was my mom. I lost my job midwinter. Was evicted New Year's Day.
Wow.
All of that happened
Happy New Year.
back to back. And all of those people that I was always there for, where were they? So that kind of made me wake up. And I said, you know what? Something has to change.
So that's something else that's interesting.
Yeah, family for me is close friends.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the lesson. You have to teach others to value you. But you can't teach them to value you when you don't value you.
Right.
If you don't value your time, your gifts, what you have to offer, your love, and you just kind of yes, anybody can have it, everybody have some, and you don't pay attention to whether or not it's being appreciated, then you're not valuing yourself. I learned that even with my kids. And this is a tough one for a lot of women because we're taught you always put your kids first, you do anything for your kids, but you have to stop and think about the fact that you're raising someone who will be an adult one day.
Very soon, yeah.
Okay? So you can't think just, oh, my baby, my baby, my baby. This is going to be an adult one day. I was so giving with my kids when it came to my time. Like most women, when I say time, like mommy just doesn't get privacy. That's fine. I'm mommy. Mommy doesn't have to get to eat the cake that's on her plate because you want some and you want some and you want some. So take mommy's whole cake. And so you're feeling like, oh, I love my family. This is what you do when you love your family. The truth of the matter is you are teaching your whole family that you matter less than they do.
You know what the doctor said to me? My son is a chronic asthmatic. At one time, he was at the emergency room every other month, it seemed like.
Wow.
And I was stressed out because I kept canceling my appointments because he had so many appointments. He was seeing specialists in New York City, Livingston, everywhere. And I'm like, well, when can I go get my teeth clean, Because I'm always worried about the kids and their appointments. And the pediatrician said something that never left. She said, Tori, quick question. If you're sick and the kids are sick, who goes to the doctor first? And I said, the kids. I'm a mother. The kids go. She said, no. You take care of yourself first so you can take care of the kids.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And I never forgot about that.
Right.
I said, that's true. It makes sense. If I'm sick, I can't take care of
And you
them.
are teaching them, again, they will be adults one day.
Right.
You're teaching them to do the same thing, to neglect themselves.
Right. So sometimes you need that person to say something that you just
To
never
make you,
thought.
to take a look at
Yeah.
yourself. Because you can be so in your own head that you don't even realize what you're doing. It took my husband really opening up my eyes to some things because, that's our nature as women. Give. But what happens is they get older and then you wonder why they're so daggone selfish.
Yeah.
I gave you all my love. I gave you all my time. I don't understand why they don't appreciate it. Because your love and your time was at their disposal. I took it. It was easy. It was easy to just take it for granted. So you have to be able to set boundaries and say no. And it feels like, it can feel kind of tough at first. It's not tough to me anymore though. It's pretty easy. I think I've gotten a lot better,
but I have a long way to go. I do.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Because she tells me stuff, right? Personal stuff.
Yeah.
And then I see here, my baby, here, my baby, and
I
I'm
have a
like,
long way to go.
you have got to put the brakes on sometimes, and don't beat yourself up about it. You know, we learn, and that's what life is about. Everybody's making their mistakes all the time. That's another thing about self-confidence that's very important, to extend grace to yourself, have some mercy with yourself, have some patience with yourself. I never think, oh my God, Jamila is just so perfect. I don't see any room for improvement. But yet, at the end of the day, when I look in the mirror and I'm alone with myself, I love her.
And it helps to be around
That's it.
positive women
It
too.
does, absolutely.
Because there's healing in this conversation. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about certain things. There's healing when you're around the right energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know?
This has been just
It is.
these last 2 months with talking to Jamila, spending time with her. She's really encouraged me. That has helped. Honestly, not that many people have taken their time out of their
Right.
day to do that.
That
So it means
helps.
a
But you
lot
were
to me.
willing. The thing is, you were willing to grow where you needed to grow. I'm gonna get into something that might be a little difficult. It's weird. Like I'm getting a little teared up already. So Di was going through Diamond. I love this thing.
I do love
Okay.
it. I love it too. It's cute.
You were going through some stuff, some junk, right? And so Di was in a how do I say this? Most of the time when I saw you, you were unhappy and you were stressed,
Depressed,
right?
too, yeah.
I got to the point where you were unhappy so much that I was just like, there is nothing else I can do. I'm trying to help her. I'm trying to talk to her. And she sees where she needs to grow and she sees where she needs to change. And yet,
I wasn't ready.
like I said,
Yeah,
exactly.
I wasn't ready.
Exactly.
And that's hard to
This is
believe.
like, this is
Right,
like 3, 4,
right.
5 years ago now.
Right.
This is a
and
long
I've been
time
there.
ago.
And I've been there. That's what's funny. So that's why I'm like, sometimes you learn stuff about yourself that is like, oh, that's not so pretty. Because I'm like, how am I going to lack patience with her? And I was there. I was that woman, like 15 years ago? Where everybody's like, what
You
is
have
her
to be
problem?
ready.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Like
Yeah.
I've learned that because, like you said, you've known me now for 5 years. So
It was never
and
the person that she is.
right, and I understand that now. But I know now you have to be ready, and like now I'm ready to be more.
It takes
to be more
time.
confident.
It does
And
take time.
It took
Yeah.
a long time. Like I said, it took me a long time, but I feel great.
And I think I took longer
feel
than you.
Great.
Yeah.
Did it help
There's a
to have
difference.
like a different circle? Like, did you have to change your circle? Like, what did
Absolutely.
you do?
I think changing my environment. I've been through change now a couple of times. This is not the first. This relationship that I'm getting out of now, it's not the first time. You know, I've been married before, so also divorced for a long time now. It's been like, you know.
And you don't look old enough to have done all of that.
Yeah,
God
so
is good.
exactly. And this, I was in my 20s now. So like I said,
Wow.
I'm 40. I'm going to be 41 in January. And so when I was in my 20s, I was married and divorced within my 20s period. And then in my 30s, you know, single, dating. But I've been through these, you know, bumps in the road, basically. But now I'm just more ready than I ever have been.
You are definitely in a better place. You're
really am.
definitely
I am.
in a different place. Definitely. I think for you, it was really more a matter of just time. Just time. The relationship playing out and you maturing as a person by going through everything that you were going through. And that's how most of us mature.
Right.
That's how most of us get there.
And pain will change you. Ooh.
Thank you, Jamila, for having us over. This was fantastic.
You're
I love hanging out
welcome.
with you, talking to you guys.
This was awesome.
You helped my confidence, and
You healed me.
You guys, it's, you know,
In
I told you
Jesus'
this is
name.
a double-edged sword. So there's no way I can be a blessing to y'all and I'm not getting blessed in return. God is good.
Yeah.
God is good. God is
He
good.
really is. But thank you, ladies. It's gonna be a long toast.
My arm hurts.
I want to thank you for giving of your time, giving of yourself, for being just open and willing to contribute and to bring all of who you are. I do appreciate it. And I thank God for you.
Likewise.
Yes.
We love you.
We love you.
I had a great time.
Good.
This was awesome.
Good, good. That
And
means
the
you'll
wine
be
was
back.
great.